Over the past 10 years, some of the greatest moments in all of sports happened right here on Fox.
Hayes waits. The Yankees are champions of baseball.
This is a presentation of Fox Sports, celebrating 10 years of excellence.
Something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
Sometimes the final moments of greatness are lost in the shadows, especially in October. But not today. This is a fall classic, the sequel showdown, maybe the final chapter of a storybook career. But look who's come to help. The best road team in baseball has arrived. And one last time, Pedro and the Rocket will take up arms in what could be the crucial battle of this baseball war. Hi, everyone, and welcome inside the...
They've been lined up since yesterday. They've been sleeping on Lansdowne Street. They've been waiting for this Game 3. A lot of anticipation. Now the excitement picks up. It's a gorgeous Saturday afternoon, and it is a matchup in the ALCS. Not only between the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox, but between Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens. And now welcome to the broadcast booth. You know, some are calling this the toughest sports ticket in Boston sports history. That could be debated. What isn't to be debated is the anticipation with this matchup between Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez. And Tim, you and I were here back in '99 when they met in Game 3 of the ALCS, but it had a totally different feel than what we're experiencing here today.
Well, the only thing that's the same today is Pedro and Roger at each other again in Game 3. But 4 years ago, the Yankees were up 2-0. They're tied at 1 apiece this year. This is Roger Clemens' last appearance at Fenway Park. But most importantly, the people in New England think that they've got the team to beat the Yankees this year.
You consider there are 5 games left in this series, and theoretically the Red Sox could have Pedro go 2 more times in this series with what's happened the first 2 games. Brett Boone, you and I have had to be weathermen a little bit because you wake up, you wonder what kind of a day it's going to be. It's a sunny day, and those shadows will make it even more tough.
It's the worst day for a hitter to wake up and see that sun out there with this 4 o'clock start. With Clemens and Martinez, it's tough enough. But they're going to have to deal with these shadows. And for the first 4 or 5 innings, let alone scoring a lot of runs, they're going to have trouble getting hits. But I think this Boston Red Sox team, they don't care what time they start, being that it's Fenway Park.
Just line them up and let's go. They score over 6 runs a game on average here at Fenway Park. Won't be easy today against Roger Clemens. Pedro Martinez on the mound for the Red Sox. And it will be that. A showdown here at Fenway. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Sprint, proudly offering picture mail and PCS Vision picture phones. By MasterCard, there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. By Tylenol PM, take comfort, it's Tylenol PM. And by WebMD, redefining modern medicine. Well, this place is alive and well. Fenway Park, where they've been playing baseball since 1912. And Pedro Martinez will face this lineup for the Yankees. It's brought to you by State Farm. Leading it off will be Enrique Wilson, who is the one guy who has hit Pedro Martinez well in his career. In fact, 7 out of 8 this season. Then Derek Jeter, Giambi, the DH, Williams, Posada, Nick Johnson, with Matsui, Karim Garcia, and Alfonso Soriano, typically the leadoff hitter, batting the number 9 spot. And on the mound is Pedro Martinez, a 3-time Cy Young Award winner.
And he's 50-15 in this ballpark. Joe Torre says you don't go out to beat Martinez, you go out to match him and hope something happens favorably in the latter innings. The best way to approach him is to try to swing early in the count. The numbers overwhelmingly in favor of guys who do that. And speaking of numbers, Enrique Wilson does that.
What else would it be? A blistering fastball over the inside corner. Pedro Martinez gets to face his nemesis here at the start. Enrique Wilson, you get the feeling as long as Pedro's with the Red Sox, Wilson will have a job with the Yankees. The 1-1. Into center field. Fighting that sun is Damon. Back in the lineup. Wilson is gone. Take a look at the defense, and they are thrilled to have Johnny Damon, their anchor, back in that outfield. They don't cover a ton of ground with Trot Nixon in right and Manny Ramirez in left. You see the numbers, the Red Sox record with Damon and without. He committed only 1 error all year. Typical infield defense. Here's Jeter. Strike 1. Off speed, base hit. Jeter, who's bothered by a sprain in a joint in his left thumb, was out for 36 games with a dislocated left shoulder, able to reach Martinez for this line drive hit.
You can see Bill Miller playing Jeter in, but this is a real hanger right here. It's outside, but a ball up in the strike zone. Just watching Martinez in his postseason starts, that's one of his problems. About the only problem he's had is that curveball. When he drops that elbow, the curve stays up.
Giambi takes strike 1. So far 2 out of 6 in this LCS with Bernie Williams on deck. Blocked by Veritek. So not only, Brett, are these hitters dealing with that shadow situation in the sunlight and center, but so is a catcher like Veritek, who smothered that last pitch from Pedro.
Well, I think it's a lot easier to catch it than to hit it. I think if you ask Jason that, he'll agree with you. You know, this is a tough time. It's when the pitcher and the catcher or the hitter are both in the shadow. That's the toughest time.
Right side into the shift. Walker gets the lead man, and that's it. Runner at first, Giambi, 2 out.
It's just that bright background. That's what gives you the tough time. It's like going into a tunnel. That initial shock reaction, you just can't see. You can't pick up the spin. And the best chance, I think, when the shadows are like this is to hit a fastball, because it's tough to see the off-speed pitch.
You can see Nomar Garciaparra, because of the shift, he actually had to go to his right to touch second base and not to his left like he normally does.
Timmy, we play the same shift on Jason. We play it on Palmeiro. I don't like it in a double play. It's too hard. You got too many guys doing different jobs that they're not used to doing, and it is a real tough play, especially to turn a double play.
Bernie Williams now takes a strike. Bernie so far 8 out of 21 in the postseason, 4 RBIs, has yet to go deep. This big crowd at Fenway anxious, wondering what the fate is for this 2003 Red Sox team, and there's no doubt that the fate of this series may rest on the right shoulder of Pedro Martinez in this start. If the Red Sox don't win this game, hate to say anything's a must-win in a 7-game series, game 3, but then the Yankees are at least guaranteed, if they win today, of getting this series at worst back to New York. as Martinez misses high, 2-1.
Just like the Chicago Cubs, by winning last night, are assured of getting back to Chicago with Mark Pryor and perhaps Kerry Wood going in Game 7 if it goes that far.
Play behind Giambi, 2 balls and a strike on Williams. Walker, scoreless first for Pedro Martinez. And now their old friend, Roger Clemens, will burst onto the scene in the bottom of the first. No pitcher has ever won more games here at Fenway Park than Roger Clemens. 101 in his career. And he toes the slab today for the New York Yankees. Here is the lineup for the Red Sox, brought to you by State Farm. Damon back at the top with Walker, Garciaparra, Manny Ramirez. David Ortiz hits 5th. Kevin Millar, Trot Nixon, who has handled Clemens in his career. Bill Miller, the batting champ, is hitting 8th. And Jason Varitek, a big threat with 25 home runs during the regular season, is hitting 9th.
Joe Torre telling us in our managers meeting today that Roger Clemens is throwing perhaps as relaxed as he has at any time being with the Yankees, and Joe thinks perhaps it is because he's gotten past the 300 win. He did that against the Cardinals in early June.
It appears that somebody holding a parabolic microphone is going to have to move out of the center field section. It's hard enough, say these hitters, to figure out where these pitches are coming from Clemens without having to deal with somebody sitting out in center field. And I would say there's a 98% chance it's one of our guys.
So move your parabola.
Where'd you come up with that percentage?
It's safe, don't worry.
Whatever, Joe.
You haven't been around long enough. Here's the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Johnny Damon. They certainly missed a huge element to this offense when Damon was unavailable in games 1 and 2 in New York. 2 fastballs, 1 in for a strike and 1 missing. Damon, Walker, and Garciaparra against Roger Clemens, who was saluted with a standing ovation during his last regular season start here. He left a winner for the Yankees the final day of August, and the fans called him back out. He tipped his cap to him. A classy move by these fans, but it's a different story here today. 2-1. Off Enrique Wilson. He's in the lineup for his bat. He has trouble with his first chance on defense.
Being a fast runner draws that third baseman in if you're a left-handed hitter. And because of that, he doesn't get a good hop. It's an in-between hop and an error on Enrique Wilson.
They've given that a base hit.
I spoke too soon then.
I don't know that you'll get any argument out of us.
I'm not arguing.
It's a base hit, and Walker steps in, and this crowd already chanting Clemens' first name. Talked to Grady Little before the game about the running game against Clemens. Typically you can run against Clemens, but he said the only guy that would run would typically be Damon, and he may be a step slower after what he's been through over the past week. Like he was caught between steps over at first and got back ahead of the tag.
Yeah, it did. It did. That right foot was in the air. It had to come down, and then he dived back. Watch the right foot. Whoops.
That's strike 1 on Walker. Todd Walker is a .393 lifetime hitter against Roger Clemens. There are 2 in this Boston lineup that have handled Clemens and handled him well. The other one is Trot Nixon, .371 average with 3 home runs against Clemens. .41-year-old right-hander, 310 career victories, most of those with the Boston Red Sox and up over 4,000 strikeouts in his career. And he is really bothered by the presence of Damon, the only speed threat this Red Sox team. Damon stole 30 during the regular season.
Well, Roger wasn't at the managers meeting then, or we were, when Grady Little said that nobody would run on the Red Sox.
Again, almost caught, but able to get back.
Grady's saying that the Red Sox wouldn't be dormant today, but if they did run, it would be part of a hit and run. Rarely would a Red Sox take off to steal a base.
Left field, well hit, Matsui back, off the monster. Damon ends up at third. It's a double for Walker here in the first.
Damon went as far as second base, and with nobody out, trotted to third. As you could hear the Fox sounds of the game, you could hear it rattling off the monster.
If you ask Grady Little why this Boston Red Sox team is so dangerous offensively in this park, it's because of shots like that going to left. Here's Garciaparra.
I think too, from what I've seen coming in, when you're not experienced with this outfield, it's a different outfield than any other outfield in the game, with all the different angles. And I think in Seattle we got one of the best in the game in Mike Cameron. And this is the one part where he's a little tentative when he gets out in left center. He says he's just not used to it. He's not comfortable with the angles of the wall. And I'm not used to seeing Mike be uncomfortable out there. Like I said, he's probably as good as there is in the game, and I think that's another advantage for the Red Sox in their home ballpark.
Garciaparra really struggling, and you can see feeling for it at the plate. He didn't hit much of anything in September. He has not driven in a run this postseason.
A 170 batting average in September, atypical of Garciaparra.
Clemens needs a strikeout. Foul. Grady Little won with Wakefield, lost with Lowe. Joe Torre lost with Messina and won with Pettit. The series tied a game apiece.
Joe Torre telling Enrique Wilson at third base, if the ball's hit sharply, go home.
Still 2-2. That would be an indication to the respect they have for the pitching of Pedro Martinez. Got him on the inside corner, one away.
Garciaparra rarely argues with the umpire. He thought this ball was inside. That ball's a strike. That not only had the corner, that had a better piece of the plate. It looked from my vantage point.
I'm telling you, it's tough to see.
Yeah.
It is tough to see. And sometimes, you know, I know as a hitter, sometimes I don't see, I argue and I disagree and I look at it on the replay and it's a lot closer than I thought. And it's not easy for the umpire either.
Alfonso Marquez in the Mexican Baseball Hall of Fame, the umpire behind the plate this afternoon. Here's Manny Ramirez. Ramirez so far hot in this ALCS, 5 out of 9 with a home run in game 1. Line drive into left center field. The Red Sox lead 2-0.
One ball, no strikes. Posada setting up inside. The pitch was on the outside part of the plate. Looked like a splitter. And Ramirez puts the Red Sox on top. Didn't hit it well. A little bit off the end of the bat. He is a run-producing machine, Manny Ramirez.
David Ortiz takes a strike. With all the hype that surrounded this game, you think back to 1999, that game 3. Same matchup, Clemens, Pedro Martinez, and a 13-1 win for Boston. Clemens did not retire a man in the 3rd inning. He was gone before then. He has said it again. He has been doubted by many, and he has said it again, that this is it. He will walk away at the end of this season. A 17-game winner in 2003. That's a strike. That's 1-2. Opposite way, slicing foul.
Damian Jackson colliding with Johnny Damon in game 5 in Oakland. Johnny Damon scoring. And there is Damian Jackson right there. Of course, it is a hug fest among the Red Sox players. Huggability.
And such a big difference from years gone by with this Boston team. 1-2 pitch. Ortiz is jammed and he pops it up. Backing out of play, still 1-2.
Ortiz is a low ball hitter, and most low ball hitters can be jammed. The reason for that, low ball hitters do not have as fast a bats as high ball hitters. That's why you can get in tight, and that's where American League pitchers try to pitch Ortiz.
Foul. Roger Clemens came up with the Red Sox in '84. Had an unbelievable year in 1986. Was 24-4. Won the Cy Young Award. Was the MVP. Had his first 20 strikeout game. Won the All-Star game. Won the 7th game of the ALCS against California. And was on the mound in game 6 of the World Series. Left in the 7th with a 3-2 lead. That's the last time the Red Sox won the pennant, as Ortiz checks his swing and the count's 2-2.
John McNamara pinch hit Mike Greenwell for Roger Clemens. And Clemens contends to this day that he did not want to leave the game, that he could have stayed in the game and wanted to pitch.
The Hall of Fame career numbers for Clemens is 2-2. Full count.
Look for Ramirez to run.
Strike 3, throw down, inning over. But not before the Red Sox come up with 2, driven in by Manny Ramirez. They support Pedro Martinez. 2 runs on 3 hits, and a good start for Boston in this game 3. Jorge Posada first up for New York as they trail 2-0 here in the second. Posada, then Johnson, then Matsui.
That was a wonderful play by Posada, because on a 3-2 count, the catcher has to stay back to make sure he catches it properly to get the strike. Also on the other end, Derek Jeter on the short hop to get Ramirez.
Posada hits one in the air to left center field, well hit. Back at the wall. This is off the Green Monster. Can't tell me he's having any trouble seeing the ball as Damon caught it off the wall. It's a double anyway, but if you're looking for any lingering effects from the concussion, rest assured Damon's okay.
Caught it on the fly off the wall. Johnny did not wait for it to bounce once. You don't see that too often. Coming off the wall and in the air making the play.
Like highlight.
Yeah. Using his cesta.
But it's a leadoff double. A good start to the second for the Yankees, and Nick Johnson digs in. Johnson homered in game 2 to put the Yankees on top for good. Came in the second inning off Derek Lowe. One ball, one strike. In August, Johnny Damon made this catch. So you know you're talking about somebody who knows how to play those angles that Brett Boone talked about, and certainly isn't afraid to go up on that wall. And he is in charge of a lot of territory in center, left center, and right center. The 1-1. A little high, 2 balls and a strike.
See, that's another danger sign. That high curveball. He's thrown 3 curveballs so far. All have been high. One on which Jeter had the single to left field. That's a dangerous pitch so far.
That's foul. And it's 2-2. Pedro Martinez is 4-0 in his lifetime in postseason. A 2.13 ERA, and opponents are hitting only 178 against him in October. Posed by Roger Clemens, who is 7-6 in his career in the postseason, and I give you those stats for a reason. Question coming up, but right now a 2-2 pitch to Nick Johnson. Full count with Matsui next. A squirter, and Pedro Martinez looks back at Posada and gets the out. Our Sprint Virtual Manager question: in their prime, which pitcher would you choose to start the quote-unquote big game? Roger Clemens or Pedro Martinez? To answer today's question, you can log on to foxsports.com, type in the keyword MLB on Fox, or you can get out your PCS Vision phone from Sprint and go ahead and type it in, and I will ask our 2 experts. And you have faced both of them, Brett Boone. Who would you pick in their prime as the tougher opponent?
It's a tough question.
Nah, just answer. Just one or the other. Let's go. Spit it out.
Toughest. I got to go with Pedro.
Runner at second, one out. Matsui pops it up.
I got it.
That's Walker. That's 2 out.
Have you seen my averages against both? I don't think there's a safe choice.
They were both sent to the booth, and
Yeah.
they both needed help getting up here. They were kind of sick.
Well, yeah. 220 off Pedro, 240 off Rogers. I got to go with Pedro again.
You, sir?
I hit against neither of them, and I would go with Pedro also.
Timmy, yeah, you haven't hit against him.
No.
But the only reason why Brett said Pedro is because he's going to have to face him again. Roger, he is assured.
You're thinking with me.
Yeah,
I'm not assured.
It's weak.
Excellent point. It is. Safety first.
With a runner at second, 2 out, the batter is Kareem Garcia. Got to start in game 2. He's 0 for 4 in the postseason. Takes the ball. Crowd one to the inside corner. The crowd's not going to get it from Alfonso Marquez. Martinez trying to pitch around a leadoff double, and he is 2/3 of the way there. There's a fly ball into right for a hit. Here comes Posada, juggled by Nixon, and the throw is too late. It's 2-1 as Kareem Garcia cuts the Red Sox lead in half.
It's not only a big hit because he drove in Posada, but he picks up Nick Johnson and Hideki Matsui, who stranded Posada on second base. Watch the momentary bobble by Nixon right there. Glove to hand, too late. Usually with 2 outs, you get a better jump from second base. You don't have to worry about the line drive at anybody.
So Posada scores. It's 2-1, and here is Soriano. Way out in front, strike 1.
First time Alfonso Soriano has hit 9th since April 15th of 2002.
38 home runs. It's a tough league.
0-1 pitch. Shattered bat and a fly ball into left center field for Manny Ramirez. The Yankees get 1. A leadoff double not wasted. Posada got it. Garcia brought him home. We go to the bottom of the second. The Red Sox will have Millar to start it. They lead the Yankees 2-1. The League Championship Series on Fox brought to you by Sprint, proudly offering picture mail and PCS Vision picture phones. By IBM, taking business to the next level with e-business on demand. By MasterCard, there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by Radio Shack, official sponsor of Major League Baseball. Bottom of the second, Millar first up. Nixon and Miller will follow. And the first pitch is 91 miles an hour down and away for ball 1. Millar so far is 2 out of 9 in this ALCS. That is hammered with foul.
That was one of those swings where you're looking for the fastball in, you're trying to yank it, you yank it foul. Posada again setting up outside.
A 1-1. On the outside part, strike 2. Millar is more or less the cheerleader along with David Ortiz that's helped bring this Boston Red Sox team together. That misses up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brought a different attitude around here. And his quote was, "We just have a bunch of idiots in here that can't wait to go out and play ball." 2-2 pitch. Strikeout number 3 for Roger Clemens here. Of the 4 outs he's picked up.
Looked like a high slider for Clemens right around the letters. We talked about it the other night. That pitch a little too high.
The best view of today's game is from the Hood Light Ship. Hood will donate $300 to children's hospitals throughout New England for every home run, double play, and strikeout made by the Red Sox during the ALCS series at Fenway. And we thank them for joining us here today as Nixon takes a strike.
Roger's really gotten away the past few years of throwing that slider. It's more the split finger, and that slider, he'll throw it, but on a rare occasion.
0-1 pitch. Now Nixon set up for a strikeout. 2 different times Roger Clemens in his career has struck out 20 hitters.
He did it 10 years apart, 86 and 96. Seattle and Detroit. That was Seattle before you were there.
0-2. Low ball
86
1.
for Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in high school, Timmy.
So much leg drive.
Powerful.
When he gets ahead of left-handers, usually he will resort to the splitter to get them out. Looks like Alfonso Marquez has something in his eye.
So they'll wash that out. And we take a look back at some of Roger Clemens' history. And when you come into a game like this, you have so many different tape elements that you could show. We have a break, so we look at the 20 strikeout performance against Seattle in that 1986 season. Cy Young MVP, and then 96 at Detroit. Took a gathering and a handful of that mound dirt, and it's one of the many souvenirs. He kind of collects unique things from along the way, and has a black carrying case that he carries with him and brings to the park on game day when he's pitching. And there's all kinds of stuff in there.
All kinds of dirt.
There's dirt.
Uh-huh.
There's a Batman outfit. All different stuff. If you look at me like I'm crazy, Brett, I'm telling you, he's got
I just want to know what's in there.
stuff. So would everybody else. Maybe someday he'll open it for the world. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Trot Nixon trying to avoid becoming the 4th strikeout victim for Clemens. He does, but he becomes the 2nd out here in the 2nd. And with 2 out, nobody on, Bill Miller will step to the plate.
I'm a little surprised that in either town the crowd can be taken out of the game, because you have so many Red Sox fans in New York the other night when the Red Sox were doing something, and so many Yankee fans here in Boston today.
There's a strike to Miller.
We talked about it in game 2, how quiet the Yankee crowd was, even though the Yankees were on top.
With 2 out, Miller takes a ball. So often you get a situation like this, and the build-up and the anticipation kind of wears people down unless they have some reason to get excited. And they've gotten on Clemens a couple of times. They did in the 1st inning when Roger allowed 2 runs on 3 hits. Two balls and a strike. Still not married, but here together. Red Sox fan, Yankees fan. This makes you feel good about everything, doesn't it?
You just can't use that caption, "Evil Empire against the Red Sox Nation."
That's high, 3-1. Obviously, they brought their monitor with them. Got good seats right there by the Red Sox dugout.
They can afford it. See, honey, that's us.
On 3-1, that is ripped right at Johnson. It was comforting to know that Ben and J-Lo weren't watching G League as they sat in the front row here at Fenway. They're watching the game, and so are you. Glad to be here. It's 2-1 Sox after 2. We move into the top of the 3rd inning. Pedro Martinez back to the hill. Enrique Wilson, Derek Jeter, and Jason Giambi, the DH. These two live about 20 minutes from each other in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. And Enrique Wilson was quoted as saying, "People hate me down there because I just wear out Pedro Martinez. They're ticked. They don't like me getting hits off him." Borderline pitch, and Pedro gets the call. And it's 1-1. 7 of 8 this season. 10 of 20 in his career prior to that fly out to center back in the first inning. Outside part, strike 2. Enrique Wilson had a total of 31 hits this season, 7 of them against Pedro. 2-2. Oh for 2 is Enrique Wilson. 1 out here in the top of the 3rd. Let's check in with Jeannie Zalasko.
Johnny Damon, does this guy look familiar? The author of Your First Concussion is at it again. No rattle and roll this time, just a shake, shake, shake. It has LeVar Arrington out of sorts. Tomorrow the Buccaneers try to rebound from last week's heartbreaking loss as they take on the Redskins. Fox NFL Sunday begins with America's #1 pregame show, noon Eastern and 9 Pacific.
Jeannie, thanks. This series will continue tomorrow night. Cubs and the Marlins tomorrow afternoon, and that is hit deep and gone. This game is tied out onto Lansdowne Street, over the monster, over the new seats, and Derek Jeter has tied this game at 2.
We talked about that curveball and how Martinez was getting under it. He was hurt in the first game he pitched in the playoffs, and in the second game. And when he wasn't hurt, he was lucky to get away with that pitch. There are some times where catchers have to can a certain pitch because of the prior recent history. And if I were Jason Varitek, I wouldn't throw that pitch again with Martinez. Just work with a fastball. There it is again. It's flat, as Derek Jeter just proves, tying up the game.
1-1 strike on Giambi.
Pedro is so innovative on the mound that he can use several different types of fastballs, several different types of changeups. He really doesn't need that curveball.
A changeup misses. It's 2-1.
Well, this hanging breaking ball just inviting Jeter to hit it hard, and he accommodates.
With 1 out, Giambi too quick. 2-2. Joe Torre talking about the difference with a guy like Pedro. He gets late movement, that late pop, the length of his fingers on that pitching hand. Tim, something you and I talked about a few years ago.
Joe says that it's almost like the ball stays in his hand that much longer, like that pitch. That was a tight breaking ball. Pedro Martinez only 5'8½", but his hands they're so long. You'd think he was 6'6". Very long fingers. And he goes to the breaking ball to tie up Giambi. That is still a dangerous pitch for Martinez, however.
Here's Bernie Williams. Oh for 1, takes a ball. Yankees have had hits in every inning. Got a run last inning after a leadoff double and a 2-out RBI hit by Garcia. And Jeter has tied it. 1-1.
Another curveball after the home run. Martinez has thrown a bevy of curveballs.
Well, he's changed speeds with it too. I mean, he's throwing that one at 69 miles an hour. Now he's throwing one up, mid-70s, which gives you a little bit different look as a hitter.
Still 1-2. The Red Sox in the bottom of this third will have Varitek, Damon, and Walker. If anybody gets on, Garciaparra. .75-mile-an-hour delivery and another foul tip by Bernie Williams. Well, if we talked a lot about the shadows and the sunlight and all that, it appears that that situation and that problem for these hitters is over. Two and two. Pedro Martinez, the starter and winner on Monday night in that Game 5 out in Oakland. Getting the ball here in Game 3. And striking out the side here in the third, but not before damage is done. Derek Jeter. He knows what to do in October baseball. Hits a hanger on the Lansdowne Street, and it's 2-2 in Boston. Roger Clemens back to work. It's a 2-2 game now. Yankees 4 hits to the Red Sox 3. Home run by Jeter tied it. Here's Varitek. Jason has 3 home runs in this postseason. 6 out of 18. 2 out of 4 in Game 2. 1 ball, 1 strike. Damon will follow, and then Todd Walker. We watched our telecast on Thursday night, and we talked about Andy Pettitte, another Texan, just peering over that glove and his eyes right under the bill of the cap. He's picked that up from Roger Clemens, as well as his conditioning program. Clemens has really rubbed off on Pettitte the right way. As Varitek steps out for a moment.
I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine Roger Clemens would be advising Andy Pettitte on his contract negotiations, just from a friendly standpoint. Andy, on the last year of his contract, where does he sign?
Price is going up this postseason.
I was saying, you know, we were both saying the other day that neither of us could understand how the Yankees could not sign Andy Pettitte with Clemens retiring.
Great numbers and 2 big Game 2 victories so far in the postseason for the Yankees. 3-2 pitch is flying into left center field. Bernie Williams. 1 out. Chris Myers is joining us here at Fenway Park. Chris.
Joe, you and Tim were talking about Johnny Damon before, how Grady Little said he probably wouldn't run much given the comeback from his concussion. He was signing autographs just before the game, and he told me that he wouldn't hesitate. He said all the doctors said was take a couple of Tylenol before the game, a couple of Tylenol during the game, and monitor the situation. He said he's more worried about Roger Clemens giving him a headache than anything left over from the concussion. Joe?
Chris, thanks. A grade 2 concussion that was suffered on Monday night. He was able to take batting practice on Thursday, and here he is back in the lineup. He has singled and scored already today. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Johnny and his wife, parents of twins, Jackson and Madeline, out here at the workout yesterday.
The opposite way. Jeter can't handle it. And Damon is on with 1 out.
Damon has hit 2 balls to the left side of the infield, 1 to Enrique Wilson. He was given a hit on that. This ball, Derek Jeter tries to backhand, hits him in the heel of the glove, and bounces away. And I would imagine it's an error.
Well, guess what?
Not another hit.
He's 2 for 2.
Come on. Give me a break. This is the big leagues. We're in the playoffs. What is this, Legion ball? Your parents keeping score? I mean, what's going on?
What Timmy's saying is, when he played, there were always errors. That's why they didn't hit as high.
I guarantee you, if you drop those 2 balls off Johnny Damon, you'd expect to get an error with that Gold Glove of yours.
Walker,
yeah, every time I expect it to be an error. Hit, no. And I feel bad for my pitcher if they give it a hit. It's an earned run if he scores. I think both of these teams right now are doing a real good job. When you got guys like Clemens and Pedro on the mound, one of your first defenses is let's get this guy to throw a lot of pitches. And they're working the counts, getting deep into counts. And when that pitch count gets up, get into the bullpens. And I think both of them are doing that very well.
It's really what Joe Torre talked about. And along the lines of what you said, Tim, at the beginning, you don't beat Pedro Martinez. You try to stay with him, get his pitch count up, and then try to go after their bullpen. 0-1 pitch. These two teams, in fact, are 3 and 4 in pitches seen per at bat in the big leagues this season. The Red Sox were 3, the Yankees were 4. So they are used to. It's not like a change of approach because of these two starters. They're used to looking over a lot of pitches. Crowd's trying to get on Clemens.
You got to wear him down. You got to wear him down. That's the best way to get to him. And when you got guys like this, the horses, that's one way you do it. That's how you're successful in beating.
Coming up next, Game 4 of that National League Championship Series, with the Cubs up 2-1. What a game last night. And it's Clement and Dontrelle Willis tonight. Walker doubled off the Green Monster, at least off the scoreboard portion of it. His first time up and scored a run. Manny Ramirez driving home 2 with a base hit in the first. Into center field for Bernie Williams. 2 out. And Garcia-Parra coming up. You would think that the Red Sox would be hard-pressed to advance past the Yankees if Nomar Garcia-Parra isn't going to hit. Get on in front of Manny Ramirez, drive in runs. So far, he's 2 out of 10, and again, does not have an RBI this postseason. Ball 1.
Well, I think the reason Boston's here is because this season all the weight wasn't on Nomar's shoulders and Manny's shoulders. There's a lot of guys in that lineup that picked up the slack when these guys weren't swinging well. So it takes a lot of pressure off you when you're in the middle of the lineup when you got guys that can handle it.
However, this was a Red Sox team that, with those guys not hitting in the division series, hit only .211. They're here because of their offensive production. The top average in the American League, and this lineup really hasn't clicked except for Game 1 of this ALCS. 2-0 pitch, 1 on, 2 out. That's ripped, but foul.
Well, that's nice though, because you know these guys are going to get it going eventually, and to be where they are and not swinging the bats well is a good place to be. I think you look at their lineup, and we were talking about Soriano hitting 9th with 38 home runs, and you look at this lineup, you got the batting champ hitting 8, so you can't be going too wrong when the batting champ's that far down in the lineup.
Garcia-Parra struck out looking his first time up, looking for a pitch to rip against Clemens. Left side for Jeter, gets a nice hop, and the inning is over. 4 out, 6-4. We go to number 4 with the Yankees and Red Sox tied here at Fenway 2-2. The League Championship Series on Fox, brought to you by Chevy Silverado. It's the right truck. By Taco Bell, where you can spice up the night. And by State Farm, providing insurance and financial services like a good neighbor. State Farm is there. The scoreboard on the Green Monster. And right in front of it, Manny Ramirez watching a breaking ball roll up to the plate, and Jorge Posada takes it for ball one. Posada, Johnson, and Matsui. Something other than the fastball, and we've seen a lot of that from Pedro Martinez early.
Like a breaking ball. Brett, you made a comment between innings saying that Martinez has stayed away from his fastball tonight. He's pitching like something's bothering him. Something.
2-0.
Yeah, I've never seen Pedro throw this many off-speed pitches, and you know it could be several things. I mean, maybe that's his plan going in, and later in the game he's going to go to the fastball.
Here's a 2-1 to Posada, who's doubled and scored. That's 4 pitches, not 1 fastball here at the start of the 4th inning. It's 2-2.
And also, though, he's played, you know, he's pitched against the Yankees. I haven't seen him pitch against the Yankees. Maybe he's been successful doing that.
Not this many breaking balls. There's another one. That was a good one there, but Posada laid off of it.
So now it's 3-2. Nick Johnson will follow, and then that's all right. Matsui is due up 3rd in the inning. That's 6 pitches in the at-bat and not 1 fastball to Jorge Posada.
5 breaking balls and a straight changeup. That is not Pedro Martinez. Atypical of Pedro.
Nick Johnson bounced back to Martinez after the double by Posada back in the 2nd. And with 2 out, it was Kareem Garcia who salvaged the inning with the 2-out RBI hit to right. One ball, no strikes. 82 miles per hour on that pitch for Martinez. One ball, 1 strike, and still no fastballs this inning. The walk to Posada was the first walk of the afternoon for either pitcher. Now 1-2.
Joe, you and I had a conversation last summer, and I asked you if Pedro Martinez were to retire, this was at the middle of last summer, would he be in the Hall of Fame? Just a rhetorical question. But when you think about what he has done, it is staggering when you realize that he has put up Koufaxian numbers.
Opposite field, pretty well hit. Ramirez, it's over his head. Posada will dig for 3rd, the throw into 2nd. It's a long single for Nick Johnson. 1st and 3rd, nobody out.
Good hitting by Johnson. That was a fastball. The first fastball to the 2 hitters.
Number 55.
Laced to left field. Johnson does that very well and short hops the monster. Played well by Manny Ramirez. That's in super slow-mo. An idea of how tough that is on the elbow when he releases that ball. You see that with a lot of pitchers. Don't realize the violence that they come through that pitching zone with.
Matsui with a great RBI chance. First and third, nobody out. And that's hammered into right field. Back is Nixon. It's over his head. It takes a hop. It's a ground rule double. And the Yankees have taken the lead. It's 3-2. Nick Johnson will have to hold at third. Matsui into second. A walk, a single, a double, and the Yankees are figuring out Pedro Martinez here in this fourth inning.
Veritek sitting outside. Both pitchers are missing badly in the strike zone. The difference is Roger Clemens throws much harder than Pedro and can get away with more. This ball laced to right field, and the Yankees, it's a tough break for the Yankees because the ball bounces into the stands. Most ballparks, that ball rattles around, and Matsui could have had a triple, and Johnson scores easily.
You look at Pedro Martinez, his career with the Red Sox against the Yankees, a very good ERA, but only one game over the 500 mark, 9-8. The Red Sox are 10-14 in the 24 starts he's made against New York. The Yankees on top now, 3-2, and they have second and third, nobody out. And this is over the head. Actually, must have hit the bat of Karim Garcia, and a foul ball, and Garcia immediately pops up and screams at Martinez.
Yeah, that was perilously close to his head. Martinez hitting Soriano and Derek Jeter. The last time the Yankees and Red Sox played in a 2-1 game won by the Yankees back in August. Now Joe Torre.
Well, they warned both benches.
I guess it must have nicked the helmet. I thought it hit his bat too.
I thought it hit him in the back. Really? It was behind his head.
Well, either way, with Garcia standing there, the only thing you could think is that it hit his bat. Now Garcia gets rid of the bat and goes down to first. So it did hit Garcia right off the back.
You're right, Brett. It was right off the shoulder.
And that loads the bases with nobody out, and Dave Wallace is going to go out and talk to Pedro Martinez, and Martinez just isn't right.
No. Talked about it earlier, looping the curveball up there, getting under the curve. As far as that particular pitch is concerned, again, you have to consider with the designated hitter, pitchers don't have to pitch. Prior to designated hitter rules, or don't have to hit, pitchers had to hit, and the game and the players policed themselves. If pitchers had to hit, as you see Don Zimmer yelling at Martinez. If pitchers had to hit, there wouldn't be as much of that. That's that safety zone with the designated hitter. You don't have to worry about it.
Now Soriano with the bases loaded takes a fastball for a strike. Lead runner is Johnson. Matsui with the RBI double. Forced down to second when Garcia was hit by the pitch. Double play ball. They got them both. The run scores. It's 4-2. 6-4-3, and now Garcia gets up in the face of Todd Walker. Joe West had to come down and separate the two. And Garcia is furious.
Yeah, because of the designated hitter, you go after the wrong guy. I mean, Todd Walker had nothing to do with you being hit. And Martinez now pointing. That's the wrong thing to do. That's inciting right there. And now the umpires are going to have to take over.
And it's Clemens now who's in the middle of it for New York. Clemens has to be pushed back toward the dugout. That's him, 22. Tim McClellan, who is the crew chief, wanted to make sure that this didn't get ugly, and he came charging over toward Clemens to make sure that he stayed near the dugout, because that could have become a mess. The Red Sox dugout is empty. The Yankees was about half empty, and Joe Torre is pleading his case, saying, look, my guy got hit in the back. You came out, you warned both sides, and now Clemens is going to go back out there and pitch, and theoretically could have the inside part off the plate taken away from him, because anything that's deemed being thrown at a hitter, he could be ejected, and that's what Joe Torre's upset about.
You've stripped Clemens of the ability to pitch hitters inside. And that is simply not right, because if Pedro Martinez can do it, Clemens can do it, or should be able to.
Jorge Posada yelling out either at Pedro Martinez or Veritek. And the umpires at least got a hold of that last part of it. The Yankees are hot because both sides have been warned. Martinez got his shot in, and the Yankees feel like they're not going to be able to get theirs in.
Oh, now look at that. Whoever he's pointing to, he's not saying to use your head. He's saying, I'll hit you in the head.
I'll hit you in the head.
I mean, come on. If that's not insightful, I don't know what is.
Now it's Enrique Wilson with a runner at third, Matsui, and 2 out. 2 runs are home in the inning, and it's ball 1 down and in. Only when Martinez got upset in this inning has he gone to the fastball. Enrique Wilson, a ball and a strike.
Here's a takeout slide of Kareem Garcia going over the bag, and Walker had every right to question that. But Garcia taking it out on Walker. And again, that's what the DH does. You can't take it out on the pitcher, so do it with somebody else.
Wilson pops it up. And Pedro Martinez is through a rough 4th inning. He hits a batter, gives up 2 runs. A double in there for Matsui. And the Yankees behind Clemens now lead by 2. As if this game needed any more emotion. The entire level of intensity has been raised another notch as Clemens goes back to work. And I would imagine Roger Clemens, it surprised Joe Torre that Clemens has been able to keep himself under control here at the start of these games down the stretch, winding up his career. I would imagine he's going to have to work extra hard with as hot as he is right now to not try and overthrow everything and throw his game plan out the window, trying to blow the ball by every hitter that steps into the box.
You could almost see him taking those deep breaths during his warm-up pitches, trying to get himself under control.
Now Ramirez.
That ball's not even close.
You talk about looking for a reason.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez. Oh.
That's awful.
Don Zimmer, a 72-year-old man, went into Pedro Martinez's face, and Pedro Martinez threw him down. And now, with word of what's happened with Zimmer, the players almost separate from each other and all walk over and check on his well-being. And it was Pedro Martinez who threw him down. And it was Pedro Martinez that Zimmer tried to find when Ramirez started to stomp after Roger Clemens. Zimmer, a former manager of the Red Sox, has been through a knee replacement, and it is great to see him up And at least able to walk back toward the Yankee dugout.
Actually, both knees have been replaced.
Oh. And it's Clemens with his arm around him.
The point is, the pitch to Manny Ramirez wasn't even close the way I saw it. The pitch to Garcia was behind him. We're trying to be as fair as we can up here, but it's very difficult to be fair in this situation. Martinez has incited so much so far. That's terrible. Awful. That is absolutely awful. You have got to be kidding me. You mean to tell me you don't know that Don Zimmer is coming? I mean, Don Zimmer?
Well, he came and swung at Pedro Martinez, it looked like. I'd like to see that replay again, just to see the beginning of it. I mean, I can't put all the blame on Pedro Martinez on that when Don Zimmer, and I feel for Don Zimmer, but he came out and had the left hand up.
I mean, there's just so many things going on right now. You got Roger on the mound. He knows it's a postseason. He knows how important this game is and that he stays in the game. With the warning.
Here is the inside pitch in question. But you can't tell me that that pitch is anywhere close to the one Garcia.
And Manny Ramirez is still yelling at Clemens.
Martinez threw the ball behind Garcia. And if the umpires are going to be true to their word, Clemens is gone. If that pitch was as close to Ramirez,
but it's not close. It's not close.
Well, that's.
Yeah, I think it's in the umpire's discretion, and I would imagine they would say that wasn't close enough to warrant anything.
I didn't think it was.
And as a hitter, if I'm hitting what happened the previous inning, I'm expecting it. And if I get hit by a pitch, I'm going to first base. I don't think that pitch was at his head. I think it was on the plate high.
It was up and in.
It was up and in, but it wasn't up and in.
Let's go down to Chris Myers for a quick word. Chris?
Joe, we're down on the field here. Umpiring supervisor Steve Palermo is discussing with Major League officials who should be gone from this game and who will remain, and they are assessing that as we speak. Moments before, the warning was given to both benches, and when Roger Clemens came out to say, hey, you're taking away the inside part of the plate, they clearly said, no, we're not, but we're not going to tolerate any retaliation or somebody will be tossed from this game. So we'll give you an update as soon as we have one.
And in my opinion, and I think we all agree with this, we led toward this earlier before this incident got really ugly, that Manny Ramirez, it looked like he was looking for a reason to go out there and start all that up again. That pitch was up. There's no doubt about that. But he got this entire thing cranked up, and then the incident that followed with Don Zimmer going after Pedro Martinez, the two were screaming at each other in the last half inning. And here's another look at that pitch that's no doubt up.
I think you got to go as far back as the takeout slide at second base. I mean, it started with the hit by pitch, but then Garcia comes across the base. I can put myself in his shoes.
Clemens' reaction after the pitch to Manny Ramirez. And now the interesting part is going to be who's going to be ejected from this game. I mean, you could have an entire list. And the umpires have gotten together and they will meet with Joe Torre and Grady Little and try to figure out who stays and who goes. And here's Roger Clemens checking on Don Zimmer after that mix-up he had with Pedro Martinez. This is before the inning started. Now remember, Roger Clemens and the Yankees were upset because both benches were warned after Karim Garcia was grazed, but grazed on the back and up high by Pedro Martinez. Talking to Tim McClellan, about the inside pitch, you can bet, and about the warning situation, where now if in the umpire's discretion, and that's really an important phrase, Brett. I mean, it is not to be taken that any pitch that's inside from here on means that the pitcher is gone. It still rests with the umpire, and I would imagine that wouldn't qualify at all as a pitch that would eject Roger Clemens from this game.
My opinion, it's not even close enough to eject him.
Let's go back to Kareem Garcia getting grazed the back of the left shoulder, and it's not so much getting hit, but where that pitch is, ducking to get his head out of the way.
With a base open.
And then this part. Saying, I hit you right here, and I think that's the point where Don Zimmer, we showed Zimmer in the dugout, screaming back out to the field in the direction of Pedro Martinez. And then when Manny Ramirez and that started, the benches started to clear, and who did Don Zimmer go find? Pedro Martinez. We go back. We talked about this in game 2 when Soriano was hit, Jeter was hit, and the reason we talked about this in game 2, as you see what happened after that daylight game in July. In game 2, there were a couple of pitches that were close. Contreras up and in to David Ortiz, and then Soriano was drilled by Bronson Arroyo, and he thought there may be some carryover with a couple of guys with long histories of brushing back and hitting batters. Roger Clemens is a guy who is known for throwing inside, hitting batters. Just so you know, Clemens has hit 141 batters during the regular season, 6 in the postseason. Pedro Martinez has hit 99. But in this case, to me, showing Piazza doesn't fit because Roger Clemens, I don't think, is guilty of anything in this inning.
No, I don't either.
And now Manny Ramirez is back in the box. Pitch is way outside, and Ramirez strikes out for the first out here in the 4th.
You rarely see Manny Ramirez swinging at a pitch like that.
It was a 13-minute delay, and Clemens got Ramirez with one pitch. Here's David Ortiz. Ortiz hits it into right, didn't get it all. And Garcia puts it away, 2 out. If with all that's happened and all that's on the line in this ALCS and all that's in the immediate future for Roger Clemens, that being how many more starts is he going to have in his big league career if this is his final season, and he has said countless times it is. It's good to see Zimmer laughing and smiling. It would be a tremendous accomplishment for Roger Clemens to harness all that, get himself under control, as that one is even closer to Millar. If Clemens could get himself under control and pitch a good ball game here this evening, what a way to go out in his final start at Fenway Park. That one riding even closer to the hitter, and Millar fouls it. It'll end up out of play, and the count's 1-1.
Well, you don't know how the game's going to end up, but you'd have to say over the next couple of innings, advantage Clemens. If you're a right-handed hitter with the Red Sox, and you believe Manny Ramirez when he went out there, and then the first pitch to Millar, even though it wasn't that close.
A high hop to Enrique Wilson.
You take swings like that.
The Red Sox end up going in order. What a 4th inning here in game 3. Clemens has a perfect 4th. Really was anything but perfect, but they did go 1, 2, 3. We go to the 5th, 4-2 New York. takes a strike over the outside corner. In case you're wondering who got ejected after that bench clearing incident in the bottom of the fourth, after the two benches at least half emptied in the top of the fourth, Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez in a little scrap. Manny Ramirez reacting to Roger Clemens. He answers nobody. Nobody got ejected after all that. And the count's 0-2 on Jeter leading off. Jeter, then Giambi, then Williams. Boston got the first 2 runs of this game. The Yankees got a run in the second, 1 in the third, and 2 in the fourth as they bat here in the fifth. Jeter's homered today, and it's still 1-2.
Thinking about this series, if this series goes 7 games or 6 games and Pedro Martinez has to pitch, I wonder if they might not play it at a neutral site.
1-2. Jeter pops it into right. Pretty well hit. Nixon near that wall. A leap, and he's got it. What a catch by Trot Nixon. 1 out.
I think he just robbed Derek Jeter of a home run. If not over the wall, it probably would have hit the top of the wall. Another look. What a play by Trot Nixon. Keep in mind that ball was tailing. I think that's a home run. Hit by a right-hander, Derek Jeter, tailing.
Giambi pops it into left, and Manny Ramirez hauls in out number 2. Let's check in again with Chris Myers.
All right, Joe, you had mentioned that there have not been any players tossed as of this moment. John McHale, Executive Vice President of Administration, saying that once there is a warning given, it's still the umpire's discretion. He doesn't automatically have to toss somebody once an instance takes place or an incident. And if it continues, they still don't have to toss anybody. They're trying to use, in their words, good judgment, be cautious, control the situation, but not cost the game its best players. And in case people are wondering, George Steinbrenner, who I'm sure would have a lot to say about this, is back in Tampa watching this one on television.
With 2 out, Chris, thanks. 2 out, nobody on. Here's Bernie Williams. Ball 1 down and in. Anybody who knows Don Zimmer knows that even at the age of 72, he's not over there just sitting there whispering things to Joe Torre. He is into these games, and he gets fired up. We saw an example of it, probably a poor example of it, but it's no different than if he was running around with Johnny Padres back in 1957. He was a tough player. He got upset at Pedro Martinez, and I would imagine with that gesture that we saw, with him pointing to his head during the top of the 4th inning, and he went after Pedro Martinez. And in Pedro's defense, he saw Zimmer coming at him, reacted to Zimmer coming at him, and pushed him down.
I think that's fair. I didn't originally see Zimmer take a shot at him with the left arm.
3-0 to Williams. 3-1. Back in that 4th inning. That was after Garcia was hit by the pitch, and it's Zimmer the one yelling out at Pedro Martinez. 3-1 pitch. 2 hops to Walker. Pedro Martinez calms down and has a 1-2-3 fifth. Halfway through game 3. Series is tied at a game apiece. The Yankees lead this one 4-2. Setting all of the more or less disturbing extracurricular activity off to the side for a moment. Here are the Red Sox dealing with a composed and effective Roger Clemens in a situation where they start their best in Pedro Martinez in an ALCS against the Yankees, tied at a game apiece, with the prospects of having John Burkett pitch against David Wells in game 4 tomorrow. That misses low. It's 2-0. So forgetting all the Pedro stuff and Manny Ramirez and Roger Clemens and Don Zimmer, back to the business of baseball as the Red Sox are in a spot where they need to win this game. Bottom of the 5th inning. 4-2 Yankees. Nixon went around. It's 2-1.
The surprising thing to me about the whole scenario was Pedro Martinez throwing at Garcia with nobody out and runners on at 2nd and 3rd. If he misses Garcia, it's a wild pitch. 1 run scores and another runner goes to 3rd. It's a lot different than throwing at him if nobody's on base, or if there are 2 outs and a man on 1st, something like that. But with runners on at 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, Red Sox still down by 1 at the time, and still throwing that pitch to Garcia is perhaps the most surprising thing to me in that whole scenario.
Well, I think with everything that's gone on, and you can't really know what these guys are going through emotionally with how big this game is, but you still have got to put it aside and win in a very important game.
Crowd gets on Clemens. 2-2 pitch. Going to be a tough play for Soriano. Underhands for the out. 1 away. I guess this would be a good time to look at our WebMD health report for the Red Sox. Ramiro Mendoza has not been active, out with a bum knee, and Byung-Hun Kim out with a sore shoulder. On the other side, the good word for the Yankees and anybody concerned is that Pedro is fine after getting involved with Zimmer, and so's Don Zimmer after getting thrown to the ground by the Red Sox starter. First pitch is strike to Bill Miller. Off the hands of Miller. It's 0-2. Miller, the batting champ from the American League this season, hit .326. Is 4 out of 29 in this postseason. .0-2 from Clemens. Checked his swing. He didn't go. Ball 1. Clemens has struck out 4, walked none, and has allowed only 1 hit since the first. Two and 2. Blown right by Miller's bat. 2 out. Strikeout number 5 for Clemens. The best view of today's game is from Hood Lightship. Hood supports children's hospitals throughout New England through a partnership with the Boston Red Sox. Good view of that field, which has been busy here at Fenway Park tonight. Game 3. Game 4 tomorrow night. Here's Varitek with 2 out. Ball 1.
Let's say we go to an extreme and say, who are we to say that Pedro Martinez threw the ball intentionally to try to hit Garcia? Could that have just been a ball that got away? I don't think so. He didn't show that type of wildness. He walked 1, he walked Jorge Posada. But to throw a ball that close behind a hitter, you almost have to be doing it intentionally.
2-1 now on Varitek.
Here's the pitch to Garcia again. Pedro Martinez has nowhere near that type of wildness in his arsenal, unless he intentionally is trying to hit somebody or throw it behind him. And as you could tell there, that was in a dangerous situation and position.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Varitek.
I can't disagree with you, Timmy. I got to go with you. I know we disagree a lot.
As disturbing as that, though, was what he then motioned to the Yankee dugout.
Right. Right.
You use the word incite. When you point to the opposition's dugout and point to the temple of your head and say what he said toward the Yankees dugout, what do you expect to happen? Two balls, two strikes, two out, nobody on.
Those are uneasy laughs in that dugout.
Roger Clemens is rolling. He has struck out 6. He is through 5. He hasn't allowed any runs since the first. Into the 6th inning. Yankees lead game 3, 4-2. We go into the 6th inning. It's 4-2 Yankees. And for New York, it'll be Posada, Nick Johnson, and Hideki Matsui. There is an uneasy feel in this ballpark right now.
There absolutely is.
Not just on the field, but with these fans packed into Fenway Park. It was tense at the start, and it's got a little different feel to it. Now that grazes Posada. Jorge Posada able to get out of the way, but it came awfully close up and in. These two yelling at each other during that 4th inning. On the inside corner, a ball and a strike. Two balls and a strike.
After all is said and done, and certainly that's not the case, but as far as throwing inside to major league hitters, you have to throw inside. You have to intimidate. Where you draw the line is when a pitcher throws a ball behind the batter. That's where the hitters draw the line. That's where the pitchers draw the line.
It's 2-2 on Posada. Full count. Posada strikes out. And now they're still yelling at each other. And Posada is doing anything but taking a direct route back into the dugout. This was back in that 4th inning. And Posada had to be restrained by the umpires as he made movements out toward Pedro Martinez, and now after that strikeout they're screaming at each other. Here's Nick Johnson. 4 strikeouts now for Martinez, and a strike on the inside corner. No balls, 2 strikes. Tonight's Sprint Virtual Manager question. In their prime, which pitcher would you choose to start the big game? Roger Clemens or Pedro Martinez? Pedro, 59%. Tonight, Clemens has been better. The 0-2. With 1 out, nobody on, a 2-2 pitch to Nick Johnson. That's foul. You almost get the feeling here at Fenway Park that people are waiting for something else to happen.
Yeah, there's something. Sometimes it's hard to read crowds and exactly what they're thinking about collectively. But it's something along those lines.
2-2 pitch. They're happy to see Pedro corral his stuff and strike out his 5th. 2 out here in the 6th.
He blows Nick Johnson away. I think the crowd collectively is similar to the way the crowd was when Roger Clemens threw the bat, the broken bat of Mike Piazza toward him. It was the same year. You saw the knockdown pitch on July 8th of 2000. Second game of the World Series. Roger Clemens throwing a bat about 5 feet, 3 to 5 feet in front of Piazza. And it was a stunned Yankee Stadium crowd then. And I think we're experiencing a quasi-stunned Boston crowd now.
The 0-1 pitch, Matsui takes ball 1. You wonder if Clemens, if he gets the opportunity later in this game, if something is to happen later on. 1-1 pitch. Another hard hit ball. Matsui has handled Martinez. This time he makes an out.
My answer to that would be only in a blowout.
Right now it's anything but. We move to the bottom of the 6th. Still 4-2 New York. First pitch, Johnny Damon takes a strike on the outside corner. Top of the order for Boston. They trail by 2. Damon, Walker, and Garciaparra. If anybody gets on, Manny Ramirez. Another hit for Johnny Damon. He's 3 for 3. Tying run will come to the plate. Let's check in again with Chris Myers.
Joe, after that eruption in the 4th inning, the people here at Fenway immediately stopped beer sales to the fans. And you touched on it a moment ago, although Damon's base hit has them up and hollering. They're very tense. They're almost not sure how to feel. Checking out both dugouts after that incident, the Red Sox seem more relaxed. The Yankees seem ready to go, ready to rumble. In fact, a lot of the players are still upset about what happened to Don Zimmer.
All right, Chris, thanks. Tying run at the plate. It's Todd Walker. Ball 1. Garciaparra on deck. Damon groaning as he gets back into that base that has a microphone in it.
Todd Walker, with only 13 home runs during the regular season, has 4 home runs in 6+ games in the postseason. When asked about it at the press conference, he said, "I don't know why I'm doing it."
Here comes Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach for the Yankees, to talk to Clemens, who's run it to 3-0 after the hit by Damon.
Funny, you hear often when major league hitters are going well, they refuse to talk about how they're doing it because often they don't know. But if they're going poorly, they can point out every single detail about why they're going poorly. What is it about we humans, Brett Boone?
You know what? When I'm going bad, I try to, because I like to watch a lot of video. But I'll never go in there and watch my swings when I'm going bad. I'll go to the positive things, you know, a highlight tape, and look at the good things. I know what I'm doing wrong.
Here's a 3-0. 2 on, nobody out.
There's your crowd.
First walk by Clemens. Tying runs are on, and Garciaparra, no RBIs in the postseason, is up.
The last time you and I did a regular season game was late July, and Garciaparra tried to bunt with runners on at first and second. The Boston Press the next day said, how in the world can this happen? Well, first and second, nobody out.
And a strike from Clemens.
You and I were startled that day that he would even attempt it.
So was Grady Little, his manager. No balls, 2 strikes. Garciaparra strikes out. 2 on, 1 out.
A guy like Roger Clemens can do that to a free swinger like Garciaparra out of the strike zone. Here's an interesting situation because Ramirez was the batter when Clemens came inside after Martinez hit Kareem Garcia. And the swing that Ramirez had was poor. You could make a case that leading up to that pitch inside, he had poor swings at Clemens. What you said, Joe, almost going up to the plate, looking for it. With a count, no balls and 2 strikes. That was the pitch that incited the bench clearing. Pedro Martinez throwing Don Zimmer down. Things are calmer. That's about all you could say.
2 on, 1 out. Tying runs on at first and second here in the 6th. You wonder about the inside part of the plate and off the inside part of the plate with Clemens dealing with Manny Ramirez. Struck him out away in that last at bat, started this one away. Again away. It's 2-0. Good rip by Ramirez. 2-1. Contreras and Heredia, a right-hander and a left-hander, getting ready for the Yankees in their bullpen. Clemens, who will retire at the end of the year, he says, on this mound for the final time.
It may be his final batter right here. With Heredia, perhaps in to pitch to Ortiz, depending on what Ramirez does.
Ramirez chased it, and it's 2-2.
Like Ramirez went after ball 3. That ball slightly above the letters.
Shattered bat might be 2. Jeter with Soriano in the middle. 6-4-3 double play. Garcia Parra struck out. Manny Ramirez grounds into the double play. Clemens and the Yankees pumped up. They lead after 6 by 2. Back after this from your local Fox station. Pedro Martinez gets a swinging strike on Kareem Garcia, a big part of this game. Grounds to Millar, gets a nice hop coming up. And with Pedro Martinez in the neighborhood and Garcia going right by him. 1 out in the top of this 7th. You go back to the double play hit into by Ramirez. Bullpen right now is quiet for the Yankees. They did have Heredia and Contreras loosening during the bottom of the 6th. Clemens may be headed back out there for another inning. Soriano out in front of it, strike 1.
It seems to me that the one thing that Joe Torre wants to get away from is taking Roger Clemens out during an inning. I think that's why Heredia is now back up and throwing. Clemens is in the clubhouse. He's not on the Yankee bench, and he could be finished for the night. That could be his last pitch at Fenway Park, that double play ball to Manny Ramirez.
96 pitches on the night for Roger Clemens to this point. And he has done brilliant work here tonight, all things considered. Getting himself focused on the start. All that happened in that 4th inning. Coming back here and pitching for the final time. And right now, after 6 innings in this all-important game 3 with a series tie, the Yankees lead by 2 here in the 7th inning. 1-2 to Soriano. 2-2.
I think out of respect for Roger Clemens, the reason Torre thinks that is fairly clear. He doesn't want a negative reaction to Roger Clemens his last time he pitches at Fenway Park.
2 out. That may be, but if the Yankees go to the bullpen and it's Felix Heredia on the mound in the 7th inning, you're bringing him in to deal with the left-handed bat of David Ortiz. Then you've got Millar. Then you've got another lefty, Nixon, coming up. You're talking about bringing in a guy that you picked up very late in the season, a guy who's bounced around, a guy who's been good for Joe Torre. But it would be an awful lot to put on Heredia if he's out there for any extended period of time. Ball 1 misses to Enrique Wilson.
Point well taken, but your backup there is Contreras, who's pitched very well. And after Contreras, Mariano Rivera, who could go 2 innings. So we're deep enough into the game to where you have a safety valve for Heredia. And he is perhaps the best safety valve in baseball.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Enrique Wilson takes a strike. The 4th inning, when the Yankees took the lead, a leadoff walk to Posada, a base hit by Nick Johnson, an RBI ground rule double by Matsui. This is to third. Miller with a leap. Good play. Inning is over. A double play hit into by Soriano in that 4th inning. The Yankees took a 2-run lead. They still lead by 2 as it's time to stretch in Boston. Massachusetts State Police Sergeant Dan Clark with God Bless America. We remind you the League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Couple of changes for the Yankees as they take the field. Felix Heredia will come into the game. He's on the mound. And Aaron Boone will come in to play third base. Enrique Wilson is finished. And that means that Roger Clemens is finished. We go back to the end of August when Roger Clemens left on the winning side. Walking off the field and then acknowledging this crowd here at Fenway Park. A classy move by these fans. And when you talk to Joe Torre about it, he'll tell you it was genuine because, in his words, he didn't walk off the mound as a losing pitcher that day. He walked off with the lead, and it was a nice gesture. Now here tonight, we've had a little bit of everything, but the bottom line is Roger Clemens has outpitched Pedro Martinez to this point, and Clemens has put his Yankees team in a position to win this game and go up 2-1 in this ALCS. If this is his final game at Fenway Park and he says he will retire at the end of the season, here's the last pitch he'll ever throw at Fenway Park, and the last time he'll leave this field. So Felix Heredia is into the game, and he is in to try to handle David Ortiz, with Jose Contreras getting loose out in the Yankee bullpen. Clemens goes 6, allows 2 runs on 5 hits, walked 1, struck out 7.
I think it's also interesting to note that no one is up in the Boston bullpen. And Pedro Martinez in the early innings was throwing right around 86 to 88 miles per hour, but his fastball has been clocked at over 90 since that incident back in the 4th inning.
Heredia misses with ball 1. Felix Heredia was picked up off waivers from Cincinnati at the end of August. Jams Ortiz, who fouls it off his foot. It's 1-1. With the Yankees, he got into 12 games, an ERA of 1.20. Only pitched 15 innings, but he has shown Joe Torre enough that he and Gabe White, another pickup from Cincinnati, are the 2 lefties, and Chris Hammond, who spent the entire season with New York, has been left off this ALCS roster. There's White.
David Ortiz was hit on his left foot in Thursday night's game, hit by the pitch, and now he gets one off his right foot.
Here's a 1-1. He comes up and catches him in the right leg. 1-2. Two runs and only 5 hits tonight for the Red Sox. Hung in there and got a pretty good rip. See the 4 runs on 6 hits. The Yankees don't have a hit since that 4th inning. Pedro's been perfect since hitting Garcia, with 2 on, a run home, and nobody out in the 4th.
One of the key pitches for Martinez so far tonight, that double play ball by Soriano. With the bases loaded, nobody out. The Yankees up by 2.
Full count. Torre worries about anything with Heredia, he told us before game 1, it's the control. And he walks Ortiz. Millard coming up, and that will be it for Felix Heredia. Jose Contreras is coming into this game as Torre will take the ball from Heredia. Millard coming up. Red Sox batting down by 2. Jose Contreras is a rookie here, but he is anything but with all of the big games he was involved with for the Cuban national team. He was heavily courted by the Boston Red Sox. They offered him $27 million. He got $32 million from the New York Yankees, and he has emerged as the primary setup reliever to get to Rivera. And he's in this game with a tying run at the plate. Nobody out. Kevin Millard digging his way in. And Contreras has not been in any more of a pressure situation than he is right here. Trot Nixon will follow as this 7th inning belongs to the Cuban-born right-hander.
Kevin Millar has faced him twice in this series. He has struck out and popped out in those 2 appearances. I initially thought that was a splitter, but it was a slider. And a high one in a dangerous position.
The Yankees hold against Ortiz at first, who has no lead whatsoever.
You're wondering why Grady Little wouldn't pinch run in this situation. There's a chance that David Ortiz will be up again in the 9th inning. They're trailing by 2, not 1.
Line drive, base hit into left center. Ortiz will turn and go to third. Staying at first is Millard with a big hit for the Red Sox in the 7th.
Ball on the fat part of the plate, and Bernie Williams makes a very nice play here, getting to the ball in time to hold Millard to first base. Good base running by David Ortiz.
That brings in Trot Nixon. A hero in game 3 of the division series with an extra inning home run to beat the Oakland A's. Tying runs on, runners at first and third with nobody out in the 7th. And Stottlemyre is going to come out and talk to Contreras.
What this is all about is the defense on the infield. To tell Contreras and to make sure he knows what to do with the ball on a ball hit back to him. If he has to come in for a ball, there could be a play at the plate. Slow runner at third. You can see Stottlemyre talking to Posada. He's talking to Contreras. And the captain of the Yankees, Jeter, shaking his head yes as Aaron Boone and Nick Johnson go over what they're going to do.
I mean, I think right here you're going to give up the run without a doubt, and you're going to go for the double play. But it is to guard against that slow roller, that chopper. Because Ortiz is going to be going on contact, without a doubt. He knows they're going for the double play.
Here is Nixon, and here is that home run in the division series game 3. That won the first of 3 in a row against the A's to get the Red Sox to this ALCS. Huge rip by Nixon.
Good fastball, good location.
Millar, who's the tying run, was on his toes, and if that pitch squirted away at all from Posada, he was going.
A lot of pressure on Posada because of that split finger fastball. If it's that tough to hit, it's that tough to catch.
Strike 2. Hard hit. Soriano to Jeter. On to first, double play. A run scores. It's 4-3. So a run is home, but the Yankees get what they want. The double play, and the bases are empty with Miller coming up.
I would imagine what this ensures is that Mariano Rivera will be the pitcher in the 8th inning if the Yankees can get out of this inning with the lead.
Bill Miller now 0 for 2. 19 home runs during the regular season. Ball 1.
What may have been overlooked was that terrific at bat by David Ortiz in this inning. I mean, to count 1 and 2, a tough left-hander out on the mound, and Felix Heredia, and he coaxed a walk out of Heredia and ended up scoring.
And the play by Bernie Williams that you mentioned.
Yeah, right.
To keep the double play in order. 1 ball, 1 strike on Miller. Strike 2. Series even at a game apiece. Yankees leading this one 4-3, and Miller stays up there.
I find it interesting that Pedro Martinez is still in the dugout and the Red Sox with action in their bullpen. Martinez was not going back out there. I would assume he'd be in the clubhouse by now. Mike Timlin warming for the Sox.
2-2 on Miller with a bigger home run threat. Veritek, who has hit 3 in this postseason, on deck. Now it's full. Tying run is on.
I've got a question, and you guys might be able to answer that. You've seen a lot more Yankee games than me, but would he hesitate, say Veritek were to reach, to using Rivera to get the last 7 outs?
I don't think so.
No? Just a question.
I'm not sure that Rivera's ever gone more than 2 innings. Don't know right now, but that
at least in the closer's role.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Perhaps he did it when John Wetman was the closer. Normally it was the 7th and 8th inning for Rivera back in 1996, setting it up for Wetman. But in the closer's role,
Check on the runner Miller at first. In case you're wondering, Miller stole 1 base during the regular season. Veritek, in his time with the Red Sox, has had a flair for the dramatic. He's at the plate with a tying run at first. Ball 1.
You see Nelson's gotten up, Gabe White's gotten up, so if Veritek were to reach, you're going to see these guys getting loose in a hurry.
You asked the question about Mariano Rivera, and we'll say this: he's pitched more than 1 inning in 21 of his 27 career postseason saves. 8 2-inning saves, which is a postseason record, albeit with many more opportunities these days. Here's a 1-0 to Veritek. Looking to crank.
I think the picture of him sitting down answering that question.
Split finger pitch from Contreras, and it dived out of the strike zone. Veritek missed it by plenty. 2 walks in the inning, a hit, but a double play mixed in off the bat of Nixon. It's a 4-3 game. And a little flare down the left field line for Boone. That ends the inning. A foul ball picked up by Aaron Boone. A little leap, a catch, a run for the Red Sox. And after 7 in Boston, Yankees lead is now 1. Pedro Martinez is finished for the night. He goes the first 7. An ugly 4th inning. The 2-run scoring for the Yankees, and then all that transpired in the top half and bottom half. And he leaves on the short end of a 4-3 score. It's Yankees 4, Red Sox 3. We're in the 8th inning. And Mike Timlin, who's been very good for Boston this postseason, takes over. In fact, this bullpen has been outstanding from Game 3 of the division series through now. First pitch is strike. 94 miles an hour to Derek Jeter. Last 14 innings for this much maligned Boston bullpen. Maligned during the bulk of the season. No runs, 4 hits, 15 strikeouts, 4 walks. And Timlin's been right at the middle of all that. Jeter is singled, homered, flied out. Giambi will follow, and then Bernie Williams. One ball, 1 strike. The story is in the batter's box and for the Red Sox on their mound and in the Yankees bullpen. On the bullpen mound. The 1-1 pitch. Good pitch, strike 2. Mariano Rivera is getting ready for the Yankees out in their bullpen.
Derek Jeter's had a terrific night, a double, a home run, and robbed of perhaps a home run by Trot Nixon. A play that cannot be overlooked his last at bat.
Here's a 1-2. Let's check in with Chris Myers. Chris?
Yeah, Joe, just a health check on Don Zimmer, who we spoke with him in between innings. He said he's fine. He got some water. He was a bit dizzy after the incident when he charged Martinez and was thrown to the ground. He said that somebody took a swing at me, didn't name Martinez by name, and wouldn't repeat what he said to Martinez. But at age 72, with the metal plate in his head, Don Zimmer up and still feisty after all these years.
Chris, thanks. That was part of that bottom of the 4th inning when Manny Ramirez took exception to a pitch that was up after both benches had been worn, with Kareem Garcia getting hit by a pitch. Fastball is by the bat of Giambi, strike 1. Jason hitless tonight, 2 out of 9 in this ALCS. Top of the order will bat for Boston in the bottom of this 8th. It appears they'll be dealing with Mariano Rivera. Here's a 1-1. Right at the shortstop, Garcia-Paul. Time to recover and get the out. On the other side of the bag, Giambi hits it right into the teeth of that defense. 2 out.
Only a guy with a gun for an arm can make a play like that when the ball bounces that far in front of him. Nomar throwing side saddle, whips out Giambi.
It's that shift too. That shifty, and Nomar's in a place where he's not used to being. It's a different angle. Ball comes off the bat different ways.
With 2 out, nobody on. Bernie Williams hitless tonight, takes a strike. Our game summary brought to you by Nissan. Clemens, an outstanding, strong, composed start here this afternoon and evening. Pedro Martinez got through 7 solid innings, but 4 runs on 6 hits. Jeter tied it with a home run in the 3rd, and it was the 4th inning. Top of the 4th, the Yankees took the lead. Bottom of the 4th, the bench is empty. Now it's 0-2 on Williams as Timlin's trying to turn in another scoreless inning. There's Veritek, who's basically standing when the pitch is being delivered by Timlin.
That's about the only thing in Jason's arsenal that I do not agree with. The minute you stand up, you are telling the opposing team that a fastball is coming. You're not going to stand up on a changeup or a breaking ball. But he does that so prematurely that it's easy to pick up a pitch like that.
Got him. The Yankees have not had a base runner since Garcia was hit by Martinez. Rivera will take over. Top of the order coming up. Red Sox down by 1. The League Championship Series on Fox brought to you by HP. HP Technology Services and People help make more things more possible. By UPS. What can Brown do for you? By Scary Movie 3 in theaters everywhere Friday, October 24th. Rated PG-13. And by Viagra. Step up to the plate and ask your doctor if a free sample of Viagra is right for you. Up above, these overhead pictures of Boston brought to you courtesy of Hood. Hood supports children's hospitals throughout New England. Mariano Rivera takes over. You talk about a home field advantage. Rivera, when he comes out of the bullpen at Yankee Stadium, they play Enter Sandman by Metallica to get everybody, including Rivera, pumped up. Here, the crowd just got finished singing Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. Talk about polar opposites, and Rivera will crank it up and look for a 2-inning save to try and save it for Roger Clemens. Top of the order coming up.
Doubtful that Mariano Rivera, who is from Panama, has ever heard of Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond.
By Neil Diamond.
Yeah.
Johnny Damon walks in. What a return to the lineup. 3 for 3. He scored a run tonight. And before the game,
I hurt my eye on the baseball field. Can I hear the kiss?
Jackson and Maddie.
Thank you. How about you? Thank you.
A kiss on the boo-boo for good luck. And he steps in. He'll need it against Mariano Rivera. Ball 1. Rivera, who blew 2 saves against the Red Sox this season. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Thing about Rivera, remarkable control. Inside, outside, same speed. That was a cutter that missed.
A jam shot. Tough play, good play by Rivera, 1 out. Tomorrow, Fox NFL Sunday begins with America's #1 pregame show. Then the Bucs try to rebound from last week's heartbreaking loss on Monday night. They take on the Redskins. They are off to a good start in the NFC East. To the other New York-Boston battle, the Patriots-Giants. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Coverage starts at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. Here's Walker.
That was a terrific play by Mariano Rivera, and you can use that combination of athlete and pitcher if you refer to a starting pitcher. Rarely can you do that when you refer to a stopper or a short reliever. Well, you can with Rivera. Great athlete.
Strike 1 on Walker.
However, as a hitter, I don't like to refer to him as that.
I don't
like to give him any credit.
I wouldn't imagine.
The 0-1 pitch. Walker the opposite way to left. How far will it carry? Not far enough as the left fielder Matsui pulls it in. 2 out.
Pedro Martinez takes power away from hitters by changing speeds. Mariano Rivera takes power away from hitters with placement on the plate. You think you've hit it on the sweet part of the bat, but you haven't. There's that ring. There's never that click.
He's been remarkable. I mean, everybody talks. We talked about it the other night, the heavy sinker. Well, both his pitches, he's got the sinker and the cutter, and that cutter is as heavy as any sinker. And he's the only one I know that's got it.
Garciaparra, he's had a frustrating night and series. Tonight 0 for 3. Hit with 2 on. Second and third, nobody out in the first, struck out. Bounced into a force out to end the third. And struck out with 2 on and nobody out in the sixth. To the shortstop, Jeter. Wide throw and out on the tag by Johnson is Garciaparra. That sends this game 3 into the ninth. Yankees still leading it by 1. Alan Embry takes over as we begin the 9th inning. He's the 3rd pitcher of the night. Martinez, a perfect 8th inning, and the Red Sox are coming to expect that from Mike Timlin. Another strong piece of work, and now it's Embry. Embry will deal with Posada, Nick Johnson, and Hideki Matsui. They're the numbers this postseason for Embry. The new MLB Authentic Collection performance batting jerseys and caps are here. Now anyone can get them. Just visit MLB.com. We talked about the importance of getting a win in Game 1 for the Red Sox behind Wakefield in New York. They did it with their number 3 pitcher. Lowe did not have enough to beat Pettit in Game 2, so the series came here, and the Red Sox were able to go with their number 1 starter, Pedro Martinez, against the Yankees, quote-unquote, number 3. But I think anybody would categorize Clemens a 1 or 1A on any staff. It just so happens he's on a deep staff with that rotation, and the depth of that rotation could easily be the difference in this series. Because of the 5-game division series, everything was upside down for the Red Sox. The Yankees got rest. They had things line up the way they wanted them lined up. They went Messina, Pettit, Clemens this afternoon, and David Wells will go tomorrow night.
Joe, you talked in the opening this evening about the fact that if it goes 7 games, then the Red Sox would have Pedro Martinez pitching against them well, the Yankees would have Roger Clemens also.
Let's go Red Sox! Let's go Red Sox!
A win here tonight by the Yankees would guarantee that at worst they get the series back to the Bronx in Yankee Stadium, as the Cubs did last night with that extra inning win down in Florida. They are assured that if they need to go deep in the series, they'll have the last action of it at Wrigley Field. They come up after this game. Dontrell Willis, that great young left-hander, against Matt Clemens. 1 ball, 1 strike on Nick Johnson.
Dontrell Willis with as much charisma as any young player coming into the major leagues in the last 2 decades.
And he can hit.
Yeah.
Johnson, a key single in this game. It came after the walk to Posada in a 2-2 game in the 4th inning. Then Matsui doubled into right. That scored 1 run. The Yankees had a 3-2 lead, and then after Garcia was hit by Pedro Martinez to load him up, Soriano bounced into a double play to force home a run and give the Yankees a 4-2 lead. It's now 4-3. There's the pitching matchup for Game 4 tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, right here on Fox. Burkett against David Wells. 1-6 in his career against the Yankees is Burkett. 1-2 pitch. Johnson handles one and lines it up the middle for a 1-out hit. Here's Matsui.
That's one of those hits where you get to first base and you're shaking both hands. Ouch.
They hurt a lot worse if it gets caught.
That's right.
I'm sure they feel fine.
Matsui with an RBI double, which put the Yankees on top in that 4th. Good fastball by Embry, strike 1. In case you're wondering if, because of that 1-6 lifetime record against the Yankees for Burkett, Grady Little toyed with the idea of going with Jeff Suppan, who was a trading deadline pickup from Pittsburgh, who pitched very well for the Pirates, did not pitch so well for the Red Sox. Grady Little said absolutely not. I'm going with Burkett. I don't care about the numbers. Throw them away. It's a different time of year.
Talked about that Yankee-Red Sox series in late July when Pedro Martinez went on Friday night. Key series for the Red Sox. They lost Friday night's game with Martinez pitching. Then John Burkett pitched one of the finest games he's pitched in a Red Sox uniform, working 6 innings of scoreless ball against the Yankees.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ruben Sierra has come into the on-deck circle. Kareem Garcia's spot is due up next. Strike 2 on Matsui. Coming up next, Game 4 starters for the National League Championship Series will be Clement and Dontrell Willis. Willis has struggled in his 2 postseason starts this year. And Matt Clement struggled in the middle innings in his lone start against Atlanta. A 1-2 pitch to third. Out. Out. Double play sends Game 3 into the bottom of the 9th. Ramirez, Ortiz, and Millar coming up after this from Miller to Walker. Rivera will head back to work. Who will take Game 3? We'll find out next. Well, before the start of the bottom of the 9th inning, we've had another ugly incident as a fan out above that Yankee bullpen has jumped down in there. Police responded immediately, as did the bullpen staff for the Yankees. And it looks like what could have been an awful situation has been handled for the most part. But you've never seen Jorge Posada run faster than he just ran out to that bullpen. I mean, he was sprinting out there to see what was going on, and those in the bullpen along with help. And there's Karim Garcia holding his hand. There's some of the incident. Jeff Nelson, you can see on the right, was involved. The police got out there before it got worse. And then they subdued that fan, pressed him against the far left wall of the bullpen. And order was restored for the most part. But the Yankees, the players on the field, went flying into that bullpen to try and help. And it looks like Garcia comes out of there holding his hand as if he's injured.
Well, a game like tonight gives some idiot the opportunity to go into the bullpen. Maddening.
So someone was out there in that bullpen, and it looked like Jeff Nelson, who was the one pushed farthest from that person who got in there, was right in the middle of it. Why did something like that happen? Well, we talked about it earlier. Something may happen later on in the night. After all this transpired in the 4th, Martinez in trouble, hit Garcia, the takeout slide at second highlighted. Then Pedro Martinez gesturing to the dugout. Posada had to be restrained. Then Clemens came out the next half inning, threw one up. Manny Ramirez went out there. The bench is cleared. And then the most disturbing part of it was Don Zimmer coming after Pedro Martinez, throwing a left, and Martinez throwing Zimmer to the ground, the 72-year-old bench coach for the Yankees. Clemens, to his credit, was able to control his emotions, get everything taken care of, turned in a solid 6-inning start here tonight. The bullpen has gotten it to Rivera, and whatever happened to Karim Garcia, it's bad enough for him to exit this game. So the Yankees will need a new right fielder, and Juan Rivera will be the man heading out there. So Rivera will take over in right. And it's a longer delay for Mariano Rivera, who will work to Ramirez, Ortiz, and Millar, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for Boston.
Garcia was in right field, and he just jumped over the bullpen fence. Bernie Williams, but you're right, Joe. I mean, Jorge Posada with full equipment on, running out into right center field. And normally, you can't replace an injured player. But in this circumstance, there's Posada right there. In this circumstance, when the injured player is a player who is injured by a fan coming onto the field, you wonder if Major League Baseball, if Garcia can't play, if Major League Baseball would change that.
You're saying within a series, you can't take somebody off the roster and put somebody else on.
Right. If the player gets hurt during the game, you have to play with a 24-man roster if 2 players get hurt. But these are unusual circumstances.
This is different.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Mariano Rivera, who got through Damon Walker and Garciaparra 1-2-3, will deal with Manny Ramirez to start the bottom of the 9th, 4-3 New York, here in Game 3. Series tied at a game apiece. Ball 1.
Ramirez with good power the other way. Rivera, a hard thrower. chances of him hitting the ball to right field better than him pulling the ball.
That is toward right, but cut off by Nick Johnson. A flip for the out, one away. And the Red Sox are down to their final 2 outs. David Ortiz will walk in, 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Rivera is aiming for his 28th career postseason save. What we're being told about the person who is out in the bullpen is that it was a groundskeeper employed here at Fenway Park. So as opposed to a fan jumping in, it's a groundskeeper who was in the middle of it, employed by Fenway Park. The report we are getting at this point with what just transpired out in right field as Ortiz takes it up and in, ball 1.
Was employed.
Right.
1 ball, no strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Two 2-0 on Ortiz.
Problem with a guy like Ortiz, if you miss down in the strike zone, Rivera trying to go in at the hands, but if you miss down, that's his home run ball. Rivera rarely misses down.
This important game 3. Hammered and caught. Diving catch by Nick Johnson. In foul territory, guarding the line. And Nick Johnson brings in out number 2 in the 9th.
Almost straddling the line. What a play by Nick Johnson.
Great play. And that's the thing with Rivera for those lefties. I mean, that ball's hit hard, but as you saw, it's foul. It's just so hard to keep that ball fair the way it cuts in on your hands. And usually lefty, that's the best you can do, is hit a ball as hard as you can and foul.
Now it's Millar, the last chance for the Red Sox. Takes a strike. Boston led 2-0 after 1. The Yankees got a run in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th. It became a 1-run game in the 7th. And now with 2 out, here's the 0-1 to Millar. 1 ball, 1 strike. Roger Clemens is in line for the victory. Pedro Martinez the loss. One strike away is Rivera from his 28th postseason save. Two and 2. Millar just trying to extend this for Trot Nixon. Tying run is at the plate. 2 out. Bottom of the 9th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Three and 2. Center field for Bernie Williams. And the New York Yankees have taken game 3. The highly anticipated matchup of Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez ends in favor of the New York Yankees. Emotions running high, no doubt. The final pitch and the final out of this game. And this will definitely go down as an intense and memorable day in the long, serious rivalry between the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Yeah, unrest has existed between these two teams since the Babe Ruth trade, and tonight's game, an example of how it will continue to exist over the next century.
It was an ugly fourth inning. It was an important fourth inning for the New York Yankees. That's when they took the lead for good. Clemens, Contreras, and Mariano Rivera good enough to hang on to that lead as the Yankees win by a final of 4-3. Let's check in down on the field with Chris Myers. Chris?
With Derek Jeter, congratulations. First of all, how important was this win?
Well, it's huge, man, especially playing here. You know, you got to take the approach that every game is huge, and this one won't mean anything unless we come out tomorrow ready to go.
Have you ever been around a more bizarre set of circumstances from the fourth inning, even to the bullpen incident? What happened to Garcia, do you know?
You know what, I didn't see what happened, but it was more bizarre last time we played here in the playoffs in '99 when they started throwing things on the field. So some weird things happen when these two teams go at it.
And was the team inspired at all when Don Zimmer was thrown to the ground by Martinez, even though it appeared he rushed Pedro?
Well, I don't know about inspired. You don't really need any inspiration. It's unfortunate. I mean, that whole incident was unfortunate. But, you know, just move on and come out back tomorrow.
Okay, thanks very much. All right, we'll see you tomorrow night. Joe Torre is also with us. Hey, Joe, congratulations on a very unusual evening. Just another bizarre set of circumstances. How's Don Zimmer, by the way?
I think he's got a little muscle pull, but thank God. I mean, I missed that whole thing because I was in the middle of that scrum out there. But
what was your recollection of what caused that? Were you worried they were taking away the inside part of the plate for Roger?
Well, no, you know, I mean, Pedro, and I've been telling, well, it's no secret. He's you know, he could be the best pitcher in baseball, but you know, he hits Kareem in the head, and it's no mistake in my mind. And I always give people the benefit of the doubt. And then, I mean, you can't sit around and just say, okay, you know, do what you want. So I'm just glad that we got through it. Of course, the win was important, but we got through it without getting anybody hurt.
Yeah, now, did Roger intentionally throw at Manny, or was that even something Ramirez should have reacted to?
I mean, you guys are on television. That ball wasn't even inside. It was high, but it was out over the plate. You know, and I think everybody was sensitive and to what the situation was, and I think we just had some people overreact.
How about what happened out in the bullpen with Garcia?
I had no clue. I mean, I went out there and Sergio, I mean, Kareem said that like a fan jumped out of the stands and
hit him or got to a
you know, I don't know that. I know his hand was cut because I guess he maybe landed a punch and he couldn't get the bleeding to stop. So
he'll be able to play tomorrow night if you need him.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Any special significance with Roger and the amount of innings and the situation when you took him out, how you left him in? He had that big double play ball on Ramirez in the sixth.
I'll tell you, this man is something. He has shown us over the years he's been here how he can rise to the occasion. But I just felt, even though he hadn't thrown 100 pitches, Chris, the emotion of the evening, I think, drained him more so than the pitch count.
And briefly, do you expect any fallout tomorrow night off of what we saw tonight in terms of the extracurricular activities?
Well, we're here to play baseball, you know, and we certainly, you know, that's first and foremost in our mind. I mean, you know, we win 2 more games, we get to go to the World Series, and that's more special than anything else that can happen.
All right, thanks for your time. Okay,
thanks,
all right, more from the Theater of the Absurd. Let's go back to Joe Buck. Joe?
All right, Chris, thanks for joining us here tonight. Well, we had all of the anticipation, all the hype leading into this game, and I would say overall the game didn't disappoint. Some of the actions in the fourth inning did, but in the end it's a 4-3 win for the New York Yankees, and they take a very important 2-1 lead with a matchup of David Wells and John Burkett coming up tomorrow night. So this crowd will file out and file back in tomorrow evening, and we thank you for joining us here this evening. It started as a nice sunny day here in Boston, Massachusetts. Everybody talking about Pedro and Roger Clemens and this ALCS. What ends is, after the emotions running high, the bench is clearing a couple of times, even a fight out in the bullpen. It's a 4-3 win for the Yankees. With our thanks to Steve Horn in the booth, for Tim McCarver, for Brett Boone, Chris Myers, I'm Joe Buck. Coordinating producer of Major League Baseball on Fox and producer of today's game, Mike Weissman. The director is Bill Webb. Aaron Stoikov, our tape producer. What a game here this afternoon and this evening. We saw a little bit of everything. Thankfully, physically it appears everybody is okay, even Garcia, the right fielder for the New York Yankees. It's Roger Clemens' last start at Fenway Park. He leaves a winner. Pedro Martinez takes the loss, and the Yankees get the victory. Jeannie Zelasco and Kevin Kennedy will be along after these words. So long from Boston.